Welcome to the Ohio AgNet podcast. I'm Matt Reese. I'm the editor for Ohio's Country Journal, joined by Dusty Sonnenberg with Ohio AgNet. And today we're very excited to talk with Joe Everett, who's one of our newest marketing specialists at Ohio AgNet and Ohio's Country Journal. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, thanks for having me today. I'm excited to join you guys.
First off, I really like your vibrant background there. It's bright yellow for those who are listening and can't see. It's very bright. It's almost like it's springtime, Joe.
Hey, we almost wish it was springtime. My wife, she loves yellow, and so she talked me into painting the kitchen that way, and she usually wins in this house a lot, so yellow it was.
Yeah, I get that.
So Joe's already demonstrated his wisdom there.
Yeah, Joe is very wise. So last night was the Super Bowl. Did you guys get to watch it? Do you have any favorite commercials or anything?
For me, there was a couple of good commercials, nothing that really stuck with me good. I was more interested in the nachos we made that really hit the spot. So during the commercials, I was grabbing those.
I caught bits and pieces of the game. I agree. The commercials were a little bit odd, some of them. I don't know. I think it was one of the pregame commercials I caught that had a purple cow walking around and people singing about paying their rent. So I'm not sure where all that was going. Obviously, I wasn't the target audience.
I did see a commercial midway through about Farmer Wants a Wife. It's a TV show. Joe, I don't know if you got any single buddies that are on that show or out there trying to find a wife for a nice farm in Ohio.
Oh, well, I guess I'll keep my eyes open. There's not too many around here.
But that's about all that caught my attention. And the game was exciting and a good one. So that was good, I suppose.
But what about the weather this weekend? We always talk about the weather this time of year. My goodness, can you get a nicer February weekend than we had this past weekend?
No, it's beautiful. And it's makes me wonder what we got ahead. You get this nice weather in February. We hope it continues through March, but it seems like sometimes we'll get cold weather now.
Right.
So I heard.
It also can make you a little antsy. I was outside. I started doing a couple little jobs outside around the house, picking up limbs and things like that. Get this nice weather, get you ready to start getting out and working.
Well, to that tune, the rumor is that out in central Illinois, where the soils are dark and deep and well drained, there's some soybeans that actually went in the ground already.
What?
No way. That's crazy.
Aggressive.
They always say plant them early. I guess that's what they're trying to do.
Before Valentine's Day is pretty early.
That is pretty early. So we've got a lot of great stuff coming up on the podcast today. Last week was the Ohio Pork Congress, which is a really nice event. They moved it to Lima, and they had last year, and they had record attendance this year at the event. And heard from a lot of different voices from around the pork industry. We caught up with Bryan Humphreys, who's the National Pork Producers CEO at the national level, and Joel talked with State Veterinarian Dennis Summers, and really had some great lessons that they've learned at the ODA about dealing with HPAI, the high path avian influenza, and how that can relate to things we can learn for the pork industry in case we do have a foreign animal disease show up. But it's a lot to think about. And the composting process alone is really daunting and takes a lot of input, a lot of mulch, and a lot of things you don't necessarily think about. So Dr. Summers learned some lessons he shared with the Pork Council, and we have audio with that. Also, John Hummel, who was the 2022 Outstanding Young Farmer for Farm Bureau, talked to me last week also, and he's my neighbor. He lives right around the corner, and we talked about his plans for the farm. He's got 2 young sons. He farms with his uncle, and they work together on the Fairfield Franklin County line. We're about 30 miles south of this new Intel project. So a lot of changes coming and a lot of adaptations for that farm. And we talked about that a little bit as well. So all that audio is coming up here in the podcast shortly. And we are going to hear more from Joe about how hard it is to work with Dusty and I, and maybe some things he likes about the job, and some other challenges and positives with being a marketing specialist for Ohio's Country Journal and Ohio AgNet. So be sure to tune into that. That's all coming up next in the podcast.